It's always about the story. The stories we tell between our two ears. The story we tell others. The stories we listen from others. It's always about the stories. If you want to change your life, just change the story. Now you would wonder, how can I change the story? If it's there, it's there. No. It's about how do you tell a story? And most important, how do you tell the story to yourself? So I can tell you, how did the life change when I changed the story I used to say about my own self. So I was born in a poor family, or not poor, lower middle class you can say. And I was a seventh child, a family consisting of 8 children, parents, grandparents, and staying in a 2 BHK apartment in a small town of Virar in Mumbai. And we had very limited resources. About basics, food, clothing and shelter were enough. And education, I was a lucky one because I was a 7th child. Before me, others were getting completed their SSC or the 10th standard and they were getting married off. So that the parents were feeling at least now they have little less burden to take care of. So by the time it came up to me, luckily, fortunately, I happened to go to college. And that too, I was the only one, the first one to go into English medium school. And so now, when I'm telling the story right now, it's in a positive perspective. But when I was a teen and all, I used to have a negative story in my head. It is why my parents had to have 8 children if they cannot provide us enough. And why so much of suffering, why we have to compromise, and all sort of blame game and all those blame game and all those things putting on others, or why me, all those things are going on. And because of all these things, the more incidents of these kind attracted in my life. And then somehow I got married after my graduation. Soon after graduation, I wanted to do my MCA, I wanted to do my PhD, which I was offered directly after my BSc because I was topper in my college. But my parents said, enough, now go get married, take care of your house and everything. And then I got married, and then I did my BEd, and I became a teacher, a high school teacher. And life was okay. I was just okay. You're in a middle class family, just doing okay. And I was always having the story that I'm not good enough. I have to compromise a lot, and I have to sacrifice a lot, and to get a little attention from somebody, or a little love from somebody, or so to add to it. I was a child at the age of 6 months. I got polio. I thought I'll not reveal it, but I have to. That's an important point in my life. And I was always inferiority driven girl. Always thinking about, I'm not good enough, okay. And somehow I got married, and that's why I use word somehow. And then I became a teacher, and thankfully I got a good job. And suddenly the book called You Can Heal Your Life happened to me. And that changed the life completely. So it was all about loving yourself. All about loving yourself just the way you are. And I started, really absorbing everything from that book. I used every technique, everything in that book. And the life started shifting. The stories which I was saying inside were changing gradually, on doing affirmations, doing my gratitude towards life, whatever. I never focused on what am I supposed to be grateful for. I always focused on the things I was complaining about, and especially complaining to my parents inside, okay, never outside. And also complaining to God, why did you do that, okay? And that led that book led to me go into my spiritual journey. Of course, I was going to satsangs and all before, also to just find out the reason of my suffering. And of course, it helped. All the places where I went, they helped me a lot. But this book was a turning point of my life. Everything, everything changed, right from a physical appearance and my way of thinking, my perception changed, correct? And I was more positive in outlook, and then I became I was ready to become a Healer Life coach, and then I went to deep spiritual journeys ahead, and then I became a spiritual coach to many people. And now what I do is my Love Yourself life coaching. Now this Love Yourself, because after going to all different places, all different spiritual journeys all across where I've been to, I realized one core thing needed by all of us, whether we are into spirituality, whether we are into success, or we are seeking success, or we are seeking love and joy in our relationships, or we want to get perfect body, or we want to have a healthy and strong and full of vitality body. You name it, any area of your life. You want to be emotionally strong, you want to be mentally strong, or physically strong, or financially strong, or need to have name, fame and money, or anything and everything. One basic rule, the fundamental rule, is to learn the art of loving yourself. I know this is hyped a lot these days on social media. Many people talk about it, and that's wonderful, but many people don't talk to the core of it, not as a depth of it. Many youngsters and teenagers will just take up, okay, I just love myself. I'll say no to my mom and dad, and I'll do what I want to. They will just freak out. Anyways, they have all the teenage energies and all. Plus, we are promoting self-love. So understand, self-love is beyond all the spas and shopping and clubbing and everything. It might be a part of it, but not the whole of it. Awakening to self-love is basically loving and accepting yourself completely. When I realized that the part which was inflicted, the polio-ridden leg, the left side, I used to hate it. I used to deny it. I used to feel, because of you, people call me lagdi on the road. If I would be saying this some years ago, I would have been in tears. Forget tears, I wouldn't have courage to say that. But thanks to constantly giving this love to the part of the body which I never loved, or which I hated, or disliked, or was angry at. This is the day when I can talk about it proudly in the audience. I don't know where all it will reach. So self-love is accepting each and every part. See, we all are happy to accept our good part. Okay, so if I look good, okay, I look good, but or maybe you're intelligent. So I was hardworking, I was intelligent kind of in my education. So I used to like it, but never accepted myself. Because I was short, because I had polio, and because I didn't have the so-called relationship. I mean, I didn't want it because I thought I will be rejected. Because who will love the girl with so many flaws? And now, after loving and accepting completely, it's a different scene altogether. Totally different. Life has changed miraculously. So understand, self-love is basically loving all shades of ourselves. All shades. You cannot say this is me and this is not me. So suppose you're loving and you're giving and you're peaceful and charming at one time. You say, wow, I'm good and people will appreciate you. Lovely. What if at the times when you're not so loving. At the times when you are angry, or when you lose your temper, or when you feel I'm good for myself, or you feel jealous of somebody, do you really accept that part? Self-love is watching inside what's happening and being okay with it. Generally, the war is inside. We are always in a tug of war. We want to portray something outside and we are something else inside. And that's why whenever our mood is off or whenever we feel low, it takes huge time to come back to normal, isn't it? Because we are having that fight. We are not ready to accept our grey shades. We are socially conditioned that we have to be moralistically, all the way religiously or socially in this norm bracket. And that's fine. We have to be into certain way into society. That's fine. But what is happening inside is your personal thing. Nobody can come inside you and check. Nobody ever. Unless you want to. So, if you get inside and be okay with whatever you are, the journey, the true journey begins. The war ends. And the creativity flows. You're saving on your energy which you're trying to put on by justifying yourself inside, trying to give reasons. Oh, he did this, she did that. That's why I'm feeling it. Oh, because my mom did that. Because my parents had 8 children. That's why my life is that. That's what used to be running in my mind about the story. So all this used to suck away. I had no energy extra. I was a very lean child, I was anemic. I was just 35 kg or something, very lean. And I realized, how did I understand all these things? Because I went into the path of spirituality, I went into the path of self-love. And as I went on deeper and deeper, I realized self-love is the answer to every question, every problem we are dealing with. So it's not about suffering. It's about a problem. For example, so we all have problems. I still have lots of problems. Okay? But I don't look at it as a problem because the problem comes, I have my creative idea, connection to my divine, to my God, and I get the solution. Or if I don't get a solution, I have patience to wait for it. I don't choose to go into suffering. I don't choose to keep on repeating those things in my head. I'm okay, understanding this. So when you are into self-love, you are into that beautiful state. You don't suffer by repeating something went wrong 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or just a minute ago. Of course, you will analyze and understand, but that suffering, that, the constant chattering of the mind, the constant war inside, the constant conflict inside stops. Because you're okay with whatever is it. There is no fight, there is no conflict, there is no dripping of energy. So when I really began the journey in 2007 about self-love, it was all about taking care of my outer thing. So I wanted a beautiful house, which I manifested after doing the affirmations on that. I wanted a beautiful body, I think I have. And then I want to get rid of specs. I got rid of specs doing the self-love activity. Means affirming about it's okay to see within. I love you, honey. And I had laryngitis. So I was working on external parts, working on my body, working on my prosperity, working on my relationships. But as I'm going ahead, it's been a decade now into this path, I realize self-love is the deepest thing. It's a one foundation need required for all spirituality, for all the growth. So you start from wherever we are. If we are dealing with materialistic problems, or if we are dealing with anything of lack, we're lacking somewhere. Affirm, give a lot of love, accept yourself the way you are just now, and then be ready to go ahead. So awakening to self-love is super, super important. And I always say it in my sessions, like, you need food, clothing, shelter, and self-love to have a perfect balanced life. Because I feel it's a need, not an option. Without that, I don't know how we're living. So I wish you all a big, beautiful, lovely life with enough of self-love. Namaste.